Yeah, it is April the 7th, 2024, and I just actually got done with something that's kind of experimental. It's kind of brand new. It's kind of something that I ain't never really done before. Shout out to El Nino. Me and El Nino were talking about it actually just yesterday, discussing this concept. And I recognize a lot of people probably wouldn't be familiar. I'm not familiar, but you can Google it if you want. They have zones of cardio, different zones, and as you can imagine, different intensities of cardio and cardio training and stuff. And I was talking with him yesterday about something that me and him we just don't do it. In fact, we almost never even heard of this, and it pertains with jogging. It's like me and El Nino, we jog, and I don't want to just speak on his behalf, but it's like the way we jog is typically how I would imagine most people out there. It's typically that you go at about an 80% effort level, and that'll fluctuate to maybe 90%. Sometimes you'll be at a sprint that's like 100%, but you'll stay at about 80, and you'll be consistently doing 80% or higher. And the reason is because in your mentality, you're thinking that you're never going fast enough, that you desire to go faster and longer and stronger and faster. And so your immediate thinking would be, well, let me just run at 80% or more for extended periods of time until I can do so for even longer or even faster. And that's the thinking, but I've definitely heard people on the internet advise against that, or say, well, that's part of it, but also there's different ways of training. Long story short, we're preparing for a war. It's about to be war around us. Might as well prepare physically. So I'm thinking, you might take advice, take heed from some of these people who say, it's actually a lot of benefit to doing zone 2 cardio, which I don't have like a smart band or a smart watch or anything to monitor my heart rate, which is what you would do if you're trying to know what zone you're in. I don't have that to monitor my fitness, my cardio right now. So what I did instead, what I figure most people might be able to do, is, for example, imagine in your head while you're running. Imagine the effort levels that you could put out, especially if you're familiar with running. And imagine in your head 60%. Be specific, 60%. That's at the low end of zone 2 cardio. You say, okay, 60%. And that's basically what I did just now. I did it for about 45 minutes. And the thing about zone 2 cardio is you should be able to do it for a very extended period of time, because you're not overdoing it. You're not like really killing yourself. So you should be able to do it for longer. I did it for 45 minutes just because that's the only amount of time I allotted for it. I could have probably gone for 2 hours. I don't know. But I didn't have the time for that. Okay. So in doing this zone 2 cardio, I'm finding that it's very important to try to be consistent. Imagine 60%. If you can't imagine that, if you're not familiar with that, think to yourself, okay, can I have a casual conversation right now without gasping for air, without having to take pause at all? Just extremely normal, casual conversation. Can you have that while you're jogging at 60%? If you can't do that, then chances are you're going over 60%. You need to tone it down a little bit. And I gotta say, it's well over a dozen times that I had to think to myself, okay, I'm doing too much. I gotta tone it down a little bit. You really have to stay on top of it, because it's your initiative to want to go faster. You're gonna want to go faster. But the idea is, don't go faster. Just go 60%. Another way to think about it is, imagine if you're out and you're like scouting the perimeter. Like way back in the day, before they had horses and all that, you're out, say you're like an Indian chief, Native American Indian chief, and you're scouting the perimeter. Think about that. What kind of pace would you be running if you were scouting the perimeter? You would not be running at 70% or 80% because you're going to go all out of wind. It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to give you time to scout the perimeter. You got to be able to carefully scout the perimeter in order to know that you're going at that cardio level. And so I just did it. I found it very fun. You know, that's the thing. You know, you got the urge to want to run fast. But if you would want to try this, you know, it's good to recognize just how leisurely it is and calm it is. And it's really quite fun and enjoyable. And so it's pleasurable. I think I'm going to keep doing it. I've toned down my running schedule a lot recently, and it's just not even a problem. But I'm thinking, and I'll get back to y'all on this, that I might switch off from this 60% every time building, maybe adding 5, maybe 10 minutes to it until I just do it for a couple hours every other week or something. And switch off between that and running fast, because it's fun to run fast. And those are different results that they'll bring up. There's a big loud vehicle right by me and stuff, so I'll holler at y'all a little bit later. It is April the 7th, 2024. It is the year of the dragon. I'll holler.